Get some rest tonight. You're going to be shoveling tomorrow. Snow's falling across the Denver metro area. Driving is dicey, and getting to work or school could be pretty messy tomorrow as well. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Clark.
I'm Alexandra Lewis, and because it's snowing, we're kicking things off with our own Kathy Sabin.
Hi there. We are under a weather impact alert and also winter weather advisory for snow. 3 to 6 inches of snow overnight tonight through the drive tomorrow morning. Starting to see the snow stick on the ground and on the sidewalks, the roadways, and we do expect the heaviest snow to fall overnight tonight. We've already seen issues on I-70 this afternoon and evening as the snow has been coming down there all day long. As the system moves from the northwest to the southeast, we'll see the bands of heaviest snow fall between now and about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then gradually we'll see clearing by mid-morning. Temperature not all that cold considering where we've been all week. We're sitting at 20 degrees. We have a winter weather advisory out through 8 a.m. tomorrow for 3 to 6 inches of snow. Lighter amounts north and east of Denver, heavier amounts in the western and southern suburbs. But definitely the morning drive will be the most difficult part of this storm system. Radar filling in from Fort Collins to Erie down to Denver, Castle Rock, Monument. We're seeing those heavier snow bands moving from the south into the metro area, and this will continue overnight tonight, but early tomorrow morning we'll start to get some drying, and by mid-morning the sun will be out and will kick off the much advertised warming trend. We have accumulation amounts in the 1 to 3 inch range for Denver, but 3 to 6 west and south. Temperatures will trend colder overnight as well. Coming up in weather, we will have much more on how much more snow to expect overnight and details on a warmer weekend forecast that's just ahead.
Of all the places to be tonight, I-70 is probably one of the worst. Look at the person walking along the side of the highway. Stretching the legs, maybe?
Oh my gosh, maybe. I wouldn't want to be out in it though.
Taking a little potty break, maybe. East side of the interstate's closed from Silverthorne to the tunnel. This is the backup on the westbound side, which apparently just reopened. Not a whole lot of movement at this point. See how it says there have been a number of crashes and slide-offs. Oh, there's multiple people out of their cars, just enjoying a chilly night in the mountains. So no matter where you are, roads not great tonight. Kind of a game of unfun bumper cars out there.
9 News reporter Colton Chavez is in Littleton right now. Colton, what are you seeing where you are? We see it's coming down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not a meteorologist by any degree, but the snow is definitely coming down, and it was definitely slippery on the way up here. We avoided all major highways coming up here because of that, and there's snow continuing to remain on the ground here. If you wore tennis shoes out off Main Street tonight in Littleton, your feet are going to be wet. And snowstorms, this isn't something that's unfamiliar to Coloradans. We have a lot of practice driving in the snow. But some people may need a little more practice because there's auto shops saying they're staying pretty busy with repairs. The work at Downing Street Garage is piling up as snow falls once again.
Always, anytime there's weather out there, we always see an uptick in, weather-related incidents that happen to the vehicles out there.
Zoe Rodriguez says he's been managing this shop for the past 7 years. He says this season is no different. They've seen a lot of cars coming into their shop in need of repair.
Curb hits, taking the corners too fast or having improper tires will do that to you. So that's something we see quite a bit of.
Rodriguez says even a minor accident can cause some serious damage. He says when a car slides into a curb, tires are often the first to bear the brunt. This type of accident, he says, can also create suspension issues.
It could get to the point where you got to place, a lot of components in there. Control arm, as I mentioned, tire rod ends earlier, wheel bearing, hub assembly. And depending how bad the rim got hit, sometimes it cracks the rim, so sometimes you got to get a new rim.
Rodriguez says that's why you might want to drive carefully to avoid some costly repairs.
We just know about winter's going to hit. We know we're going to see a couple curb hits.
And actually, I learned something tonight speaking to Rodriguez. He says when people check their tire tread, one of the more old-fashioned ways of figuring out if you have a good car or not is the penny trick. And basically, if you're unfamiliar, what you do is you take a penny and you take Lincoln's head and you basically put it inside the tread of your car. And they say if you can see Lincoln's head, then you need to change your tire. Unfortunately, I think we might need to change our tires as well. But Rodriguez tells me that actually you want even a thicker tread than that, because even if your car does pass the penny test, he says it can still have you slipping all around these roads. So we're going to be sure to take things nice and slow on our way back to the station. But for now, live in a very snowy and peaceful Littleton, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
All right, take it easy, guys. You know, we now know one person died and 2 others were hurt in a 4-car crash on Highway 93 this morning. This is near 56th Avenue in Jefferson County. CSP says it happened just after 6 a.m. in the northbound lanes. Crews shut down 93 for about 6 hours before reopening the road this afternoon. CSP is investigating the cause of the crash.
The former Clear Creek County deputy who shot and killed Christian Glass was convicted in his second trial today.
The verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Andrew Buin, guilty of criminally negligent homicide.
Andrew Buin was originally charged with second-degree murder, so that's a lesser charge. In June of 2022, Buin responded to Christian Glass's call for help. The 22-year-old got his car stuck on a boulder in Silver Plume. He was freaking out. He wouldn't get out of the vehicle. He was scared. Buin demanded that he get out. When he didn't, Buin broke his window with a baton, shot him with beanbag rounds, a taser, and then shot and killed him.
He thought he was God. He thought he could do anything. He thought he could get away with anything.
He's a bully.
He did.
Bully, violent bully.
In response to the verdict, Clear Creek County Sheriff Matthew Harris released a statement reading in part, quote, "We have restructured the leadership team, implemented policies and processes to align with law enforcement best practices, and establish agency-wide training requirements and expectations." Buin was taken to jail, where he'll be until his sentencing in April. He faces up to 3 years in prison.
Missy Woods arrived at Jefferson County Court today before her preliminary hearing was rescheduled. The former CBI analyst is facing more than 100 felony charges for manipulating data. Concerns about accuracy and timeliness are leading some law enforcement agencies in Colorado to send their lab work elsewhere.
I want to bring in 9 News reporter Ria Jha. And Ria, Boulder County Sheriff's Office is now paying to process DNA instead of using the state-funded labs.
Yeah, CBI says the backlog is due to slow hiring and long training processes, but they say they discovered Missy Woods, a former analyst, misconduct in November 2023 and shut the lab down for several months, most of 2024, which made that backlog much worse.
For years, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office relied on the Colorado Bureau of Investigation for DNA and rape kit testing. Now, the state lab is just not cutting it anymore, and CBI Director Chris Schaefer knows it.
Currently, right now, at the turnaround times that we are at, it's not acceptable.
In a letter to Schaefer last week, Boulder County Sheriff Kurt Johnson said the agency will start submitting DNA evidence to the Jefferson County Regional Crime Lab instead. In a statement to 9 News, he said the move is because, quote, "ultimately we want to provide them timely justice with good evidence." Currently, CBI's rape kit backlog is more than 1,400 untested kits. The oldest one goes back almost 2 years.
We have to do better. We are going to do better. And we have a plan to do better.
With recently approved funding, CBI says they'll be working towards a goal to cut turnaround times in half by this time next year. Schaefer knows they can't just say it. They'll have to prove it.
But again, it's about transparency. We have to be in a position, CBI, that our victims, our stakeholders, the legislature trust us and trust the results that we are giving back.
The Boulder County Sheriff's Office says this isn't a full break with CBI. The agency will still rely on state labs for certain tests like toxicology and fire debris analysis. Ria Jha, 9 News.
Medride is allowed to take Medicaid patients to and from appointments in Colorado again. Today, a state court judge granted the company a temporary restraining order for 2 weeks. Medride asked for one after the state terminated its contract. The state cited incomplete driver background checks, missing vehicle inspections, and incorrect Medicaid claims. Medride argued the state moved too fast, and it says it will reopen tomorrow.
A children's museum in Boulder County says all but one of their sponsors pulled out of their Girls in Science event, worried about retaliation from the Trump administration over DEI. The event at the WOW Children's Museum in Lafayette, designed to inspire young girls to explore STEM careers, lost nearly all its sponsors this year. Staff there says private companies and government agencies that typically fund the event were worried that it could put federal grants at risk under the Trump administration's policies that target diversity, equity, and inclusion.
What we're hearing is that it really is coming down to a lack of clarity around these guidelines and what jeopardy these organizations may be putting themselves in if they choose to support events that celebrate diversity.
The museum staff says the community in Boulder County has stepped up big, donated more than enough to cover the event over the last 2 days, so it will continue as scheduled March 5th. The staff there say they're concerned about how targeting DEI will impact future events.